This is Glow in the Dark Radio. The science fiction podcast, with original independent science fiction, written and performed by Mike Luoma, with music by Kevin MacLeod. The Vatican Assassin Trilogy and The Adventures of Alibi Jones by Mike Luoma are available in ebook, trade paperback, and audiobook wherever you find your books online. Get links and details at glowinthedarkradio.com. This is the Science Fiction Podcast, Glow in the Dark Radio. I'm your host, your writer and reader, Mike Luoma. I have Chapter 19 of Alibi Jones and the Hornet's Nest coming up on this episode of Glow in the Dark Radio. Alibi Jones and his crew, along with special editions from the project, Dr. Humphreys and psychic Lenora Schwald, are investigating a supposed ghost ship which has appeared in deep space. Alibi has just left Schwald and Humphreys on board the ship to do their thing. We'll check in on them with Alibi in Chapter 19 of Alibi Jones and the Hornet's Nest coming up on this episode of Glow in the Dark Radio. A big thank you to patrons. Patrons help keep Glow in the Dark Radio glowing. And you can too. I would love to have you as a patron if you can do it and help support the podcast for $2, $5, or $10 a month. You can do that at patreon.com/glowinthedarkradio. And that's where you can find out more about becoming a patron. At the very least, patrons most of the time, quite often, get the episode early. And you could too. I also wanted to mention again, as I did last episode, that you can now get Alibi Jones' 6 short stories in paperback. It's once again available in paperback, thanks to my new printer and distributor, Draft to Digital. You can find all the places it's available and in all the formats it's available at books2read.com. That's books2read.com/Alibi Jones 6 shorts. And that's a landing page that has links to everywhere the book is available in all its formats. Now, all those short stories are part of the Alibi Jones Omnibus, The Adventures of Alibi Jones Chronological Omnibus. So you don't necessarily need that book if you've got the Omnibus, but I just wanted to be sure it was available, you know? And now it is. Well, that's all I have for book news, so we're going to get into Chapter 19 of Alibi Jones and the Hornet's Nest, coming up next on Glow in the Dark Radio.
The Flesh Pulp Podcast. 3 to 10 minutes of fiction. 200 miles below the surface of the Earth, at the terminus of a series of long-sealed caverns and interconnected shrines. Under the shadow of the eternally bleeding eye, there is a crippled wreck of a man writing tales, stories of a dimension engulfed in madness. He is writing them of you. Find them all at fleshpulp.com or search for it on iTunes.
Now here's Chapter 19 of Alibi Jones and the Hornet's Nest on Glow in the Dark Radio. "It's not working," Lenora Schwald said. Schwald and Humphreys spent the entire day over on the alien vessel. Humphreys appeared happy. Schwald was not. Back on the bridge of the cruiser that evening, she complained to Alibi Jones. "And I still have this headache. I've had it ever since you turned on your nully thingies." "The trans-space nullifiers?" Alibi asked. "You think the trans-space nullifiers are causing your headache?" "Yes," she said. "And interfering with my ability to contact, well, anything." "Ha!" Humphreys laughed. "Devin!" Schwald scolded. Humphreys looked up from his scanner display. "What?" he asked innocently. "I didn't hear what you... Is something wrong?" "Lenora thinks our trans-space nullifiers might be hampering her ability to mentally contact whatever race might inhabit some part of that ship over there," Alibi said. "Oh," Humphreys said. "That is curious. Perhaps we're merely speaking of a different sort of field, somehow generated by the brain, which is also dampened." "Oh, well, that's a whole different kettle of fish, as my grandmom liked to say." "You're not saying you agree with me, are you, Devin?" Schwald asked. "Changing your tune?" "No," he protested. "It seems highly unlikely. But perhaps it merits further study. Someday." "Wow," she said. "That's a lot coming from you. Thank you, Devin." "So," Alibi said, "what were you laughing at, Humphreys?" "Laughing?" Humphreys asked, confused. He figured it out. "Oh, I wasn't laughing, ha-ha. I was exclaiming a eureka of sorts." "Geesh," Schwald said. "Make me sound like the reasonable one." "This is perfectly reasonable," Humphreys said. "And it may even tie into your thing, Lenora." "My thing?" she said. "You mean my theory?" "I'm a scientist. I can't call it that," Humphreys said. "Your idea." She smiled. Humphreys rolled his eyes. "Go on, Humphreys," Alibi said. "What did you find?" "Do you remember how I said the material the ship is made of is a microfaceted silicate?" he asked. "Something like that," Alibi said. "Well, that's all the ship is made of," Humphreys said. "Although we are in a space inside the vessel, the space itself is an apparent anomaly, a bubble. Most of the ship is simply that material in strands woven together. There is no inside, except where we are, and undoubtedly in a few other places as well, one would imagine. Other bubbles. So it's solid? There's no inside? What does that mean?" Alibi asked. Now he was confused. "If I'm correct, and this too is still in the idea phase, these strands are conduits and storage batteries for incredibly complex energy patterns," Humphreys said. "The ship was a transport system for beings made of energy of some kind, well beyond any we've encountered so far, if I'm correct." "Ha, indeed, Doc," Alibi said. "So," Schwald said, "about my headaches." Kat spoke up from over in the co-pilot's chair. "I find it highly unlikely that a device designed to render a trans-space drive inoperative would interfere with your mental abilities," Kat said. "You are a d'accord," Schwald said. "No offense, Mr. Cat, but maybe human sensitives aren't your specialty, Cat took offense. He growled. "Urgh." Lenora Schwald moved further away from the d'accord. "As a human scientist, I'm inclined to agree with our alien friend," Humphreys said. "The nullifier is a tool. It works on a field. Much as you have an interesting idea, Lenora, this is not superstition. This is science." "If it's science, then so are my skills," she said. "If they respond to the nullifier." "Circular logic," Humphreys said. Alibi considered Schwald's request. "Not sure I want to risk turning off the nullifiers. Maybe if everyone's in a safe place. No one's getting ripped in two this time. Kinda glad Emily's off duty for this discussion." "If this is beyond what we've seen before, like you said, Doc, we can't rule out the impossible," Alibi said. He wasn't as skeptical of possible mental sensitivity as the other two on the bridge. Alibi didn't know what Schwald's experience was, but he'd had his own. Aliens and alien devices communicated telepathically with him, spoke inside of his mind in the past. He was open to the idea the nullifier could somehow be generating some kind of interference to that. He was not open to the idea of putting the cruiser and the lives of his crew in danger. "I can meet you halfway, Lenora," Alibi said. "Really?" she asked, brightening. "Really?" Cat asked, incredulous. "You aren't seriously considering that the nullifier is somehow messing with her invisible mind waves, are you, Alibi?" Humphreys asked. "Yes, really," Alibi said to Cat. He turned. "And yes, I am, Humphreys. I've seen stranger things than this turn out to be true. You were just talking about mental energy fields." "And advanced beings," Humphreys said. "Other races." Given his own mental sensitivity, it was a little odd Alibi didn't feel anything coming from the ship or their surroundings. He'd let his own mental guard down earlier to see if anything was out there. Long ago he was taught a trick of picturing double doors closing in his mind to keep others with telepathic abilities out. He'd let them open earlier in the day when babysitting the scientist and the psychic over on the shipwreck. Nothing tried to come in through his open doors. Probably a good thing. "I won't turn down or turn off the nullifier on this ship, on the cruiser," Alibi said. "But I will turn down the big nullifier over on the side of the alien ship for a short period of time, so you can see if it makes a difference. But if there's any power drain or other weirdness, we're turning it back on immediately." "Captain Jones, I must protest," Humphreys said. "Putting us in danger for some wacky—" "I'm cutting you off right there," Alibi interrupted him. "I don't expect anyone besides Lenora to be over on the alien ship when we turn down the nullifier, Doc. You'll be safe behind our ship's own nullifier field, here on the cruiser. No need to start throwing around names. We don't even know for sure that the nullifier is doing anything. Speaking of pseudoscience," Alibi shook his head. "And who's this Captain Jones guy, anyway?" "Thank you, Alibi," Schwald said. "We'll do it first thing in the morning," Alibi said. "Everybody get some sleep before we try this." Schwald called the cruiser over the comm from one of the small rooms in the alien ship. "Are you sure you don't want to join me over here, Devin?" she asked. "I'll be in my cabin," Humphreys said. He hesitated. He'd showed up in the ship's common room for breakfast, but wasn't talkative. He'd sulked around on the bridge as Lenora Schwald prepped for her return to the alien vessel, lurking in the background as Alibi went through safety procedures. Now that she was over on the craft, he'd allowed a scowl to freeze on his face. "Cheer up, Dr. Humphreys," Alibi said. "Think about it. At worst, she'll contact something. At best, you get to say I told you so." "Right," Humphreys said. He turned and left the bridge. "It doesn't surprise me Dr. Humphreys doesn't believe in mental telepathy," Emily said. "His own mind seems pretty closed." Alibi smiled. He'd been thinking a similar thought, but kept his mouth shut. He didn't want to insult anyone. Sounded better coming from Emily, anyway. "Since I'm captain and all?" "Old scientists seem to get that way," Alibi said. "Probably because they have to prove everything their entire life. And get it checked. Twice." "You have been around a lot of old scientists?" Cat asked. "My aunt used to run the project," Alibi explained. "So, yeah." "Well, Captain Al, I'm ready when you are," Schwald called. "I'm going to try to meditate. Going quiet for a bit." "Understood," Alibi answered. He moved up a new screen to give him control of the external trans-space nullifier mounted on the side of the alien vessel. "Let's see if Krish's invention is doing us any good here." Alibi laughed. "You're laughing?" Emily asked, surprised. "Just thinking of Krish. He invented the nullifier," Alibi said. "You met him on Argentium, briefly. He'd make a liar out of me. Krish is one of the few old scientists I know who still has an open mind. He once helped me find a planet that I'd seen in a vision." "He did? In a vision?" Emily asked. "Yeah," Alibi said. "I was looking for a lost Eldred base. Krish handed me this hunk of debris from an Eldred ship, and in my mind I could see the surface of this small planet, and the stars." Alibi trailed off. "It's a long story, Emily. Kind of involved. Have to tell you later." "Gotcha," she said. "Sure." "Okay," Alibi said. "We're doing this. Ready, everybody. Reducing power to the external nullifier in 3, 2, 1, now." he didn't want to take it all the way down at once. He pulled back power to the device gradually. "We're at 3/4 power on the nullifier," Alibi said. "Cat, any change in our ship's power?" "An uptick, as the power to the nullifier is reduced," Cat said. "Less draw, to be expected." "No drain?" Alibi asked. "No drain," the Doctor confirmed. "Taking it down to half power then," Alibi said, as he lowered the feed. "Half power." "Curious," Cat said. "We are not losing power, but I did not see another gain this time as you reduced the feed." "Don't like that," Alibi said. "Keep your eye on it, Cat. Let me know if there's any fluctuation." "I will," Cat said. The Catman leaned forward in the co-pilot's seat and called up another floating data screen. "Ship is at full power," he said. "All systems check out 100%. "Good," Alibi said. "Emily, any change to the alien ship?" "Negative," she said. "All our scans are negative. We're not picking up anything, and the scanners are on full spectrum. So we're okay, unless they're using an energy we don't know to look for." "My headache is gone," Schwald said over the comm. "I knew that field had—" She trailed off and went silent. "Lenora?" Alibi called back. "I'm feeling something," she said. "Can I get visuals?" Alibi asked Emily. "I'm not getting a video feed from that room," Emily said. "Just her audio." "Can you turn it down a little more, Alibi?" Schwald asked. "Just a little, Lenora," Alibi said. "Down to 1/3 power." "Thank you," she said. Alibi slowly reduced the power feed to the nullifier to 1/3 full. 1/3, Alibi said. "Thank you, Captain," Schwald said. She grew silent as she again tried to make contact with the ship. Alibi, Cat, and Emily sat on the bridge of the cruiser. They monitored their screens and checked for anything strange happening to their ship or the ancient alien vessel they were docked with as hours dragged by. Little changed among their readings and scanning data. What did only did so with minor fluctuations. Humphreys showed up on the bridge at lunchtime. Alibi pressed him into service, getting sandwiches for himself and the bridge crew from the ship's galley. "We all gotta eat," Alibi said. "Lenora?" Alibi called over the comm. "Do you need anything? Lunch or something?" "No, thank you, Alibi," she said. "I have everything I need with me, already here." "Anything yet?" Alibi asked her. "Contact of any kind?" "Not so far, no," she said. "But there's a hint of... Well, I don't want to say anything yet, Alibi." "Let me know if you, hear anything," he said. "Or if you need anything." "I will," she said. "Thank you, Alibi." Humphreys brought sandwiches back, and the four of them ate in silence on the bridge. This is the textbook definition of too quiet. Bothers me. Alibi gave Cat and Emily each an hour's on-call break as the afternoon wore on. Amazing how doing nothing can be so tiring. Humphreys wandered off the bridge after a couple of hours, but reappeared as dinner time approached. He sat down in a passenger seat behind Cat, across from Emily, to wait for the rest of them, hoping they'd soon actually take a dinner break. Alibi was contemplating calling a halt to the day's experiment when Schwald broke the silence. "Yes?" Schwald asked. "No one said—" Alibi started, but Schwald cut him off. "I'm hearing a voice," she said. "What is it saying?" Alibi asked. It's asking me something," Schwald said. "It wants to know who I am." "Alibi, I'm seeing something here," Emily said. "Some kind of exotic energy signature keeps popping up in my readings, as if it every so often flashes across the hull of that ship." "What is it?" Alibi asked. "I don't know," she said. "Could it be their version of a trans-space field?" Alibi asked. "I don't think so," she said. "It's a lot different. Trying to analyze it now." "Alibi," Schwald called over the comm. "The voice is asking why we are hurting it, why we're causing it pain. The nullifier is causing them pain. Can we turn it down some more?" Alibi turned off the comm feed to Schwald. "Cat, any fluctuations inside our ship?" Alibi asked. "Still checks out, Alibi," Cat said. "No real change." Hurting it. Not sure this is at all wise, but... I'm turning it down some more, Alibi said. Cat growled. Alibi and Emily both stared over at him. He settled back down in his seat. I would like to go on record as saying this is a bad idea, Cat said. You can, Alibi said, turning it down to 10%. Cat continued to growl, low in his throat. Emily laughed. Kinda sounds like you're purring, Cat, she said. It's cute. Cat stopped growling. It is not meant to be cute, Cat said. Before Emily could reply, Lenora Schwald again spoke up. That's it! Now it's really speaking to me! Alibi turned up the gain on the comm, as if he could somehow hear whatever Schwald was hearing. He closed his eyes and tried opening his mental doors to see if he could hear anything that way, but his mind was greeted by mental silence. You'd think I'd pick up something. After a moment, Schwald spoke again. Yes, Schwald said. Yes, I am here. Are you the ship? A ghost? Another being? There was no sound over the comm or inside of Alibi's mind. He closed his mental doors. I am inside you? So you're the ship? Schwald asked. Silence. Yes, I am here. Schwald's last word grew into an extended scream. Turning the nullifier back on full, Alibi shouted. Power drain, Cat called out. Just hit! We can't fully power the nullifier! Something is drawing us down! Alibi was on his feet, intending to head for the airlock. Cat's report stopped him. No, Alibi ordered. Cut everything else except atmosphere. Full power to the nullifiers, now! The lights dimmed down to almost nothing. Alibi didn't want to walk to the alien ship in the dark, so he waited. Half of the floating screens on the bridge blinked out. The other half flickered. Alibi prayed they hadn't turned the nullifier back on too late. Hoped they wouldn't have to pay too high a price for the risks they'd taken. Power level stabilized, Cat said. Alibi sucked in a breath, realized he'd been holding his. The bridge began to brighten. The screens came back on, solid. The comm was restored. Lenora? Alibi tried the comm. Lenora, can you hear me? Lenora? No answer. Well, that was Chapter 19 of Alibi Jones and the Hornet's Nest on Glow-in-the-Dark Radio. Something seems to have woken up on the alien ship. Maybe the ship itself. And now Lenora Schwald isn't responding. Turning the transspace nullifier down let something come back to life. Some exotic energy on the alien ship, which Humphreys discovered didn't really have much of an inside. The ship is all interwoven strands of that crystalline obsidian substance that the vessel is made out of. The inside that they're inside of the ship is really just a bubble. Now, turning the nullifier back up did seem to stop the ancient ship from draining their power. But now, Alibi Jones has to figure out what he's going to do next. And figure out what's happened to Lenora Schwald. We'll find out on our next episode of Glow-in-the-Dark Radio. Once again, a big thank you to patrons who help keep this whole thing going, and an invitation to become a patron if you are not one. For $2, $5, or $10 a month, you can find out more and sign up at patreon.com/glowinthedarkradio. And the paperback of Alibi Jones, 6 short stories, is once again available. And if you want to find that book in all its different formats, in all the different places it's available, just head to Books to Read, with the number 2, books2read.com/Alibi Jones 6 shorts. And that is all for this week. I'm your host, your writer and reader, Mike Luoma. Thank you again for listening to Glow in the Dark Radio. Glow in the Dark Radio. This podcast presentation is copyright 2026 by Michael F. Luoma and is protected under a Creative Commons Attribution, Non-Commercial, No Derivatives 4.0 International License, CC by NC-ND 4.0. Music by Kevin MacLeod. You can find his work at Incompetech.com. Mike's books are available in ebook, paperback, and audiobook, wherever you find books online. Get links and more details at glowinthedarkradio.com and mikeluoma.com. This has been a presentation of Glow in the Dark Radio.